That decadent, rich, and utterly irresistible treat we call chocolate. It's a global superstar. We find it in birthday cakes, holiday stockings, and as a comforting friend on a tough day. But have you ever stopped mid-bite to ponder its origins? Where does this magical substance actually come from? The journey from a humble bean to the glossy bar in your hand is a fascinating tale of agriculture, chemistry, and culinary artistry. It's a process that has been refined over centuries, transforming a bitter seed into the universally adored confection we know and crave. This isn't just candy making, it's a science and an art form, a sweet journey worth exploring. So, let's put on our lab coats and get ready to investigate. The story of chocolate doesn't begin in a candy factory with bubbling vats. No, our story starts in a much warmer, much more humid place. It begins in the lush tropical regions of the world, specifically in a narrow band, about 20 degrees north and south of the equator. This is the Cocoa Belt, the only place on Earth where the cacao tree, or Theobroma cacao, can thrive. The name itself, given by the famous botanist Carl Linnaeus, means food of the gods, and for good reason. This single tree is the sole source of the cocoa beans that are the fundamental building block of every single piece of chocolate you've ever eaten. These cacao trees are rather particular plants. They don't like direct sunlight, preferring the shady canopy of taller rainforest trees. They need consistent rainfall and high humidity to flourish. Countries like Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Indonesia, and Ecuador are the modern powerhouses of cocoa production, supplying the world with its precious beans. The tree produces large pod-like fruits that grow directly from the trunk and main branches, a rather unusual botanical trait known as cauliflory. Each of these colorful pods, which can range from yellow and orange to deep purple, holds the real treasure, the cocoa beans themselves. Inside each leathery pod, nestled in a sweet, white, pulpy mucilage, are anywhere from 20 to 60 seeds. These are the cocoa beans, though at this stage they taste nothing like chocolate. They are intensely bitter and astringent. It's the incredible transformation these beans undergo that is the true magic of our story. This journey from a bitter seed inside a tropical fruit to a smooth, melting bar is a testament to human ingenuity. It's a multi-step process involving farmers, fermenters, roasters, and chocolatiers, all playing a crucial role in developing the complex flavors we associate with our favorite treat. Now that we know where the key player comes from, let's see what happens next. Harvesting cacao pods is not a job for heavy machinery. These delicate trees require a human touch. Farmers must carefully inspect the pods, judging their ripeness by color and sound. Using long poles with sharp blades on the end for high branches or machetes for those within reach, they skillfully cut the pods from the tree without damaging the trunk or the delicate flower cushions that will produce future fruit. It's a labor-intensive process that relies on generations of agricultural knowledge. The harvested pods are then gathered into piles, ready for the next critical step, cracking them open to get to the prized beans inside. Once gathered, the pods are split open, usually with a swift practiced blow from a machete. Inside, the beans are revealed, covered in that sweet white pulp. The beans and their surrounding pulp are scooped out by hand and collected. This pulp is crucial, as it provides the sugars necessary for the first, and perhaps most important, flavor-developing stage: fermentation. The empty pod husks are often left in the orchard to decompose and return nutrients to the soil, a simple but effective form of recycling. The real work, the work that begins to turn these bitter seeds toward their chocolatey destiny, is about to begin. The wet beans, pulp and all, are typically piled into wooden boxes or laid out on large banana leaves and then covered. This is where the magic of fermentation happens. Microbes, like yeasts and bacteria, that are naturally present in the environment are drawn to the sugary pulp. The yeasts go to work first, converting the sugars into alcohol. This process generates heat, raising the temperature of the pile and killing the germ inside the bean, preventing it from sprouting. This initial alcoholic phase is what makes the whole operation smell a bit like a tropical brewery, a funky but vital part of the process. After a couple of days, bacteria take over from the yeast. These bacteria convert the alcohol into acetic acid, the same stuff that makes vinegar sour. This acid, along with the high temperatures, breaks down the cell walls within the bean, allowing complex chemical reactions to occur. This is where the precursors to chocolate's signature flavor begin to form. The fermentation process, which can last up to a week, is carefully monitored by the farmer, who turns the beans periodically to ensure even fermentation. Afterward, the now purplish-brown beans are ready for drying, having completed their first major transformation on the path to becoming chocolate. After the crucial fermentation stage, the cocoa beans are still very wet, with a moisture content of around 60%. To be stored and transported without spoiling, they need to be dried. Farmers spread the beans out in a thin layer on large mats or wooden drying tables under the hot tropical sun. They must be raked and turned regularly to ensure they dry evenly and to prevent mold from growing. This sun-drying process can take a week or more depending on the weather. In some regions, with more rainfall, artificial dryers may be used to speed things up, but slow sun-drying is often preferred for developing superior flavor. By the end, the beans' moisture content drops to about 7%. Once dried, the beans are packed into jute sacks and shipped to chocolate manufacturers around the world. Upon arrival at the factory, the first order of business is cleaning and then roasting. The beans are passed through machines that remove any stray twigs, stones, or other debris. Then comes the roast, a step that is absolutely critical for flavor development. Much like roasting coffee beans, this process is where a chocolatier's signature style begins to emerge. The beans are tumbled in large, rotating roasters at carefully controlled temperatures. This process reduces bitterness and brings out those wonderful, complex aromas we associate with chocolate. Fruity, nutty, and floral notes all come to life here. After roasting, the beans are quickly cooled to stop the cooking process. The next step is winnowing. The roasted beans have a thin, papery outer shell that needs to be removed. The beans are cracked into smaller pieces, and these pieces are then passed through a machine called a winnower. The winnower uses air currents to blow the light, flaky shells away from the heavier pieces of the actual bean. What's left behind is the pure, broken-up heart of the cocoa bean, known as the cocoa nib. These nibs are the essence of what will become chocolate, containing roughly 50% cocoa butter. The cocoa nibs are now ready for the great grind. They are fed into a series of powerful grinders or mills. The intense pressure and friction from the grinding process liquefy the nibs, turning them into a thick, dark, gritty paste. This paste is known as chocolate liquor, a confusing name, as it contains absolutely no alcohol. It is simply 100% pure, unadulterated ground cocoa nibs. This chocolate liquor is the foundational ingredient from which all types of chocolate are made. It can be further processed to separate it into cocoa butter and cocoa powder, or it can be used directly to make chocolate. The journey isn't over yet. The chocolate liquor is gritty and still has some acidic notes left over from fermentation. To create the smooth, silky texture we expect from a fine chocolate bar, it must undergo a process called conching. The chocolate liquor is placed in a large, vat-like machine with heavy rollers that continuously agitate and knead the mixture for hours, or even days. This is also the stage where other ingredients are added. For dark chocolate, that means sugar and extra cocoa butter. For milk chocolate, milk powder is also blended in, along with sugar and cocoa butter. The conching process does several important things. The constant motion and aeration further develop the flavor, driving off any remaining harsh, acidic compounds. It also grinds the sugar and cocoa particles down to a size so small that the human tongue can no longer detect them, resulting in an incredibly smooth mouthfeel. The length of the conching time has a huge impact on the final quality and texture of the chocolate. A longer conch produces a finer, more refined product. This is where a mass-market candy bar and a high-end artisanal chocolate really part ways in their production methods. It is a game of patience and precision. After conching, the liquid chocolate is almost ready, but one final, crucial chemical step remains. Tempering. Chocolate gets its satisfying snap and glossy shine from the stable crystal structure of its main fat, cocoa butter. Tempering is the carefully controlled process of heating and cooling the chocolate to specific temperatures to encourage the formation of these good, stable crystals. If chocolate is simply melted and cooled, it will be dull, crumbly, and melt too easily in your hands. Proper tempering ensures that the chocolate sets up with a beautiful sheen, a crisp snap when you break it, and a smooth melt-in-your-mouth quality. Finally, the perfectly tempered chocolate is poured into molds to create bars, bonbons, or any other desired shape. The molds are often vibrated to remove any air bubbles and ensure the chocolate fills every corner perfectly. The filled molds are then sent through a cooling tunnel to solidify completely. Once set, the finished chocolates are removed from their molds and sent on to be wrapped in foil and packaged in their final wrappers, ready for their journey to store shelves and, ultimately, to you. From a bean on a tree to a bar in your hand, it's a sweet and complex journey that makes every bite all the more enjoyable.